So the first time I went to Hillsboro was in May of 2018. Then I returned 4 months later in August of 2018. So I am at the other side of this abandoned building area. And as you can see, a trail runs through the middle of the abandoned building area and then along the river. So I guess at some point in the past, people could cut through it, and a trail runs right in the middle of the abandoned building area and then continues as a hiking trail along the river. And this runs parallel to Mill Street. So I was trying to figure out where those guys were standing who were yelling the last time I was there. And I believe that they were standing in back of this mansion. And this mansion has now been bought by a Barra Dental. So I saw that the building had a horse weather vane on top. So I decided to walk on the main road and find the same building with that as a marker. And this building is marked with the sign that says Barra Dental. So I looked it up on the internet, and this mansion with the pillars used to be called the Dutton House or the Dutton Twins. So there are two houses that are supposedly almost identical. And according to a few sites on the internet, there's a barn in the middle of them linking the two houses. And that is where Barra Dental has its main office. So I looked to see what else is in that building, but I could not find any information on the internet. If you look on the side of it, the building is gigantic. So this is the largest dental clinic I have ever seen. So once again, this is in August of 2018. And I noticed that someone has put some plastic lawn chairs along this porch area in front. So I do not know what they have in these other houses, but the building is very large. Directly across the street is a house. There is a sign, "The wages of sin is death. Ye must be born again." And there is what looks like a little garden behind that, and it looks a little beat up on the side. And there are two satellite dishes in the back of the building, which suggests that this was an apartment house. If you notice, the house is for sale. There is a Better Homes real estate sign in front. And if you notice, somebody has blocked off the front door with a bench. And on the bench, they have what appears to be a wooden flag. But they obviously don't want anyone going in and out through the front door, even though the house is for sale. I am now going to show you a clip. It's a short clip of the first time I went to Hillsboro in May of 2018. It is right at the beginning of spring. So there is the Barra Dental building on the right, also known as the Dutton Twins or the Dutton House. That's a better shot of the building. And you can see the middle building is supposedly Barra Dental, and then the two twin Dutton houses on either side. And right across the street is a sign that says the Quiverful Acre Farm. And they have two signs advertising this. One is a hand-painted sign, and the other one is something that you could probably order off the internet. They have stacked a few rocks around one of the signs. They look like Belgium block rocks, and they've stuck that in a flower planter. And I did not get it on video, but they have a red cooler. and leaning against the red cooler was a sign that said eggs. So like I said before, the house just looks like a rundown rooming house. It doesn't look like anything that should be identified as a farm. So I looked up quiverful, and the dictionary on my computer said, quiverful is the amount of arrows a quiver can hold. And a quiver is a tube that holds arrows. And then it says British, humorous, a large number of offspring. And then they have an example, and I quote, he had one of his quiverful with him. And then it says, with biblical allusion, Psalms chapter 127, verse 4 and 5, like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the sons of one's youth. Happy is the man who has a quiver full of them. And now it is about a year and a half later in November of 2019. And out in front of one of the buildings at the Barra Dental office is a barbecue. So across the street at the house that was once marked the Quiverful Acres Farm, the real estate sign has come down, suggesting that they may have sold the house. It looks like a new owner has moved in, one that likes to decorate with corn stalks, scarecrows, and much like the previous owner, they also like to block off the front door with a bench, and they will also put a pumpkin right in the middle of the front step. So not much has changed. I am now going to return to the footage I took in August of 2018. I'm standing at the other end of the abandoned building area, and I want to walk down closer to the river to get a better look at the foundations to what I believe was a mill or some sort of factory on the river. So at the bottom, I saw that it looked like a foundation to what may be a mill. So there is a large pillar-shaped foundation that is placed parallel to the other foundation. So I wanted to climb up and see what was on the top of that platform. So the way that this structure is built, I'm guessing that it was part of a mill. It looks like an industrial type foundation. So at the bottom of this foundation, was an opening, and it was about 4 or 5 feet in and a couple of feet tall. So I waded across the river so I could take a better video of that area. And there is what appears to be some type of weird face spray painted on the rock. From far away, it looked like an owl. I walked along this levee or the mill's foundation a little ways, and over here it is kind of cracked up and covered with rocks. But down a little ways, it's a lot more even. It is a lot more flat and even and doesn't have all those rocks and debris on top of it. And I'll have some better footage of this whole area and the buildings across the river in the next video.